Hello, coin collectors out there. Welcome back to the Big D Coins channel. Hopefully everyone is having a great day as always. In today's video, we are going to be looking at some Kennedy half dollars. So this will all be some pretty basic information. If you're new to the channel, what we do here is we review these different coins and tell you which ones to look for. So we are going to be looking at all decades of the Kennedy half dollars. We're going to start in 1964 with the 90% silver Kennedy half dollar. This one right here. We'll work our way up to a 40% silver Kennedy half dollar, seen here with the 1967. And then we've got some copper nickel clad Kennedy half dollars. These ones right here. So we've got a 1971. We've got a bicentennial Kennedy half dollar. We have a 1985 Kennedy half dollar, a 95, and even a 2007 Kennedy half dollar. And behind these, you'll see I've got a couple of the Kennedy half dollars that I've got in better condition. These are in these little flips right here just to preserve them. So what's special about the Kennedy half dollar? What attracts people to the Kennedy half dollar the most is the silver content of the early years of the Kennedy half dollar. As I mentioned at the very beginning, the first year that they were produced is 1964, and they're being made up until today. However, they changed the metal content along the way. In 1964 on the left right here, this one is 90% silver. Now that's special because this is worth, silver is obviously worth a lot of money. So intrinsically, this one has a higher value to it just because if you melted the coin down, it would be worth more just based on its silver content. So with today's silver prices of approximately $17.12 per ounce. This one right here is a 12.5 gram total weight coin. Of that, 90% is silver, 10% is copper. So that gives it a current melt value of $6.20. Now keep in mind that will fluctuate depending on the current silver price, but the price I'm using right now lists silver at $17.12 per ounce. So a high value right there, $6.20 for a 50-cent coin that you could pull out of just a regular bankroll. Now we decrease in value a little bit when we go from 1964 to 1967, this coin right here. We'll jump back a little bit later once we get done talking about the metal content, about the accented hair at 1964 Kennedy half dollar. That was actually the original design of the half dollar before Mrs. Kennedy changed kind of her preference on how she wanted the hair to look on this. So we'll get back to the accented hair Kennedy half dollars. Those are worth a lot more than the melt value of the coin. Now we're moving on to 1967 right here. So 1967, so these have a metal composition of 40% silver. These ones were made from 1965 until 1970. The overall weight of the coin is 11.5 grams, so 11.5 grams times 40% silver times $17.12. That gives us a current melt value of $2.58. So we still see that these are worth much, much, much more than face value just based on the metal content alone. However, what happens once we get into 1971? Well, unfortunately, folks, in 1971, represented by this coin right here, we'll flip it over on its side, and we can see that copper is showing through on the rim of the coin. That is because the core of the coin is 91.67% copper. Actually, the core of the coin is entirely copper, but the overall metal content of the coin itself is 91.67% copper. It's got a weight of 11.34 grams. That gives it just a melt value of 7 cents because copper and the little bit of 8.33% nickel have a much lower metal price than silver does. So therefore, if you melt it down, unfortunately, it'd be worth less than 50 cents. So there's no point in doing that. Now we've got the 1964 and 1967. What are they making them out of today? Well, unfortunately, they are all still the copper nickel clad combination to them. I'm trying to show you the edge of the coin because that's the easiest way, other than weighing the coin, to identify if it is silver versus non-silver. If you see that brown, orange, copper color showing through like you see on the rim right here, that indicates that it is a copper coin and not the silver coin, which will have a much higher value to it. Now this 2007, this one looks like it's in great shape. That's because this coin is part of the series that was not intended for circulation. In 2002, they stopped mass producing these and the mintage on them dropped drastically. So in 2001, we had 21 million made at the Philadelphia Mint, 19 million made at the Denver Mint, and then in 2002, there were only 3.1 million made at the Philadelphia, 2.5 million made at the Denver. Now these were sold directly to coin collectors. That was the idea of it. These weren't as popular as the mint would have liked as far as people spending them, so there wasn't a need to mass produce these like they had done from 1964 up until 2001. So the mintages from 2002 and after are all in the $1 to $3 million range per mint. Again, these were sold directly to coin collectors, and then I assume, because some people do find some of these not intended for circulations at their banks, entire rolls of them, I assume they dump the rest of those that they can't sell during the year onto just whatever local bank is nearby, or maybe they try and spread them out. So you can come across these from a bank. Either the way you would get those is that the mint dump them off to the bank, or a coin collector bought them and then put them back into circulation. Again, these have mintages of 1 million to 3 million per minting facility. So the different minting facilities that you'll see for these coins are P for Philadelphia or D for Denver. All right, now let's get back to the 1964. We'll talk about that accented hair. Now, the accented hair is actually one of the coins that's on the PCGS Top 100 Modern Coins, and there's actually a chance that you could find it out there because there are a decent amount of these that were produced. Now, the 1964, the 50-cent coin, this relates to the proof version. So the proof version will have the mirror-like fields in the background, and then these were originally sold in proof sets. Those are those hard plastic sets, and the original design had the accented hair. So let me get you a little bit of information on those. So the accented hair, here's a little bit of a description from PCGS. Now the sources I'm using for this video are mostly just PCGS, as well as some silver melt value calculators. So the accented hair design is believed to have been the first design strike used for the proof Kennedy half dollar in 1964. The accented hair variety displays extra hair right above Kennedy's ear. So what you're going to want to look for is right here. Again, these are just for proof coins, so that wouldn't apply to this one, but I'm using it as an example. As opposed to a regular coin, which will have less hair above the ear, the accented hair variety will also be missing most of the lower left serif of the letter I on the word Liberty. So with the accented hair, if you've got a 1964 proof, check right here and then check right here. If yours is missing that bottom left section of the I right there, that's an indication that it was part of that accented hair strike that was originally made for the original design. Now, Jacqueline Kennedy, the wife of JFK, played a major role in the production of the Kennedy half dollar. Initially, the JFK design was intended to replace the Washington quarter. However, Miss Kennedy requested that the Washington quarter design be left alone. As a result, the Franklin half dollar was replaced with the Kennedy half dollar design. Now, that started in 1964 and has been running up until today. The Franklin half dollar, I've got it right here. It's kind of a cool transition. We're transitioning from 1963 up until 1964. the the Franklin half dollar actually had a rather short run to it. It was only made from 1948 till 1963. So unfortunately for Ben Franklin here, he had a rather short run to his production of these coins. Here's the obverse design of the Ben Franklin half dollar, and then I'll flip it over to the reverse design right here in case you haven't seen it before. United States of America half dollar. All right, so what is the lowest mintage for the regular strike coins? So we're excluding the proof coins. What is the lowest mintage in this series? Well, as I said, many of the modern ones that were not intended for circulation, those have very low mintages to them. But excluding those and excluding the proof coins, the 1970D Kennedy half dollar is considered a key date as it had the lowest mintage of just 2.15 million. Obviously, several issues in the past, starting in 2002 and after, have had lower mintages than that, but 2.15 million is very low. As some perspective on that, the next year they made 302 million of them at the Denver Mint. So 1970D is the key date you want to keep your eye out for the non-silver Kennedy half dollars. If you've got any silver Kennedy half dollars, 1964, 65, 66, 67, all the way up until 1970, keep your hands on those because those have silver. If you got that 1970D, keep your hands on those because those are a low mintage key date coin. All right, everyone, that's all the time I've got for you in today's video. Hopefully you enjoyed. Please do check out some of these other videos on the channel. Thank you very much, everyone, and best of luck coin collecting out there. Enjoy.